I just got back from my honeymoon in Italy, and while my husband and I were there, we also attended a close friend's wedding in Florence, in addition to kind of all our own honeymoon activities while we were there. And it was such an incredible trip. It was so wonderful. I'm sure I'll share highlights with you all at some point, but today I really wanted to dive in and show you what makeup I brought. And just for a little bit of context, we were actually traveling between 5 different places over the course of like almost 2 weeks while we were there. And we knew we'd be walking a lot to and from train stations. We'd be carrying our bags everywhere we went. And so we decided to pack just in like hiking backpacks. We didn't have like suitcases or anything like that. And so I knew I needed to pack really light on the makeup. But I also knew I had a special event to attend, and I also wanted to look and feel beautiful during my honeymoon. So I put together a little tiny travel bag. Everything I brought fits in this little bag right here, and it has brushes and all of the makeup that I took with me on this trip. So in this top pocket here, that's where I put all of the makeup, and then my brushes are in this back flap here. And unfortunately, I won't be able to link the brushes down below. Almost all of them are extremely old brushes, but I will talk through them with you just so you know kind of what sorts of things I typically pick out when I'm traveling. But let's jump into the makeup because I will be able to link all of that in the description box. I'm gonna go in order of kind of my typical application here, which means we're gonna kick things off with concealer. I brought one concealer with me. It's the Buildable Blur Creaseless Concealer from Thrive Cosmetics. This stuff is incredible and it was perfect for travel because it's actually the only concealer that I have in my collection that I don't set with a powder. It's waterproof, so great for that wedding when I knew I was gonna cry. I'm definitely a crier at happy events like weddings, so I thought the waterproof aspect of this would be great as well, and it was perfect. And then I chose to only pack one foundation as well, and I picked the Ordinary Serum Foundation. This is like a light to medium coverage. It is pretty buildable, so on that day that we went to the wedding, I wanted a little more coverage, and I just layered up 2 layers of this, and I ended up with a solid medium coverage. This stuff lasts so well, also without being set because it dries to just like a natural skin finish. I should have said I'm wearing all of these products today. So far we've only done the concealer and the foundation. I am wearing them both. I am only wearing 1 layer of this foundation today though, so you can see it's kind of lighter to medium coverage. And it just gives me such a perfect finish. It was great for more casual makeup days. It was great for that special event. Super happy with this. Now for bronzer, blush, and highlight face products, I actually only packed one thing, and that was my Smashbox Cali contour palette. This also has a setting powder in here. I don't actually like this setting powder very much. I think it's a little too cakey on my dry skin, but I had it as like a backup if needed for that foundation and concealer if I felt like I needed to set anything. It's nice that it did come with that. But aside from that, I do have a bronzer, blush, a highlight, and a contour as well, which is great for special events. This also was a super great item to have with me because it gave me kind of my staple eyeshadows as well. I do also have the highlighter on today on my brow bone, and you can see it does give some pretty good reflection. It's a really beautiful like satin eyeshadow. So I loved this. I loved having this. It also has a gigantic mirror, so that was convenient for me to have along for the ride too. Next up, I did pack my Milani eyeshadow primer. This is kind of bulky and kind of an awkward shape, and so if I were traveling for something that wasn't like a special occasion, I probably wouldn't have packed this, but just knowing myself and knowing that when I want my makeup to last, I need this under my eyeshadow, I brought it along. And then speaking of eyeshadow, I went around and around in circles about what palette to bring with me. I knew I only had room to pack one palette, and that really stressed me out. So instead, I actually went ahead and built my own little custom palette. I used my magnetic palette from Sydney Grace, which also has a mirror in it, so that's great. And I ended up with a little 9-pan palette here that complements that Cali contour palette super well. So I will hold them up next to each other in a second so that you can kind of see the variety of looks I was able to create. but let me talk you through my thought process here. I knew I wanted a dark brown for really smoking out the outer corner and to use as an eyeliner if need be. And then I also knew I wanted some like softer mauve sorts of options because I love those tones for more romantic occasions. And obviously a honeymoon and attending a wedding are very romantic times. So I went ahead and pulled 2 mauve toned shadows, and then I picked a bunch of very impactful shimmers. And I intentionally picked shimmers in my collection that are like very, very glittery, shimmery, and reflective because I had those more satiny shades in the Cali Contour palette. So I ended up with like a mid-tone brown, a copper, a duochrome, a silver, just a really good champagne shade, and then another mauve. So these came from a variety of different palettes in my collection. The top one here is Dark Chocolate from Sydney Grace, which is a single on its own always. The next one in is Ram from the Samantha March and Ofra collab, The Life is a Draft palette. From that same palette, this is the shade 09. From ColourPop Going Coconuts, I have the shade Da Coco. Then I have Sydney Grace Tiara, also a single. Also from ColourPop Going Coconuts, this is the shade Cocoa Crush. Down here from ColourPop Lust for Dusk, this is the shade Quiet Storm. Sydney Grace, The Greatest Gift. And last but not least, from ColourPop Lust for Dusk, this is the shade Shaken. So I really, really love how this turned out. Let me hold it up next to the Cali Contour palette so you can kind of see how my mind was thinking about these together. All right, so hopefully when they are side by side like this, you can really see the vision that I had. So I really wanted the option to do both a warm toned brown look, a cool toned brown and silvery look, and a mauve look. And I really feel like I achieved that. I ended up having the warm tones in the Cali Contour palette, along with some of those extra shimmers I put in the singles, as well as that dark brown matte. I have the cool tone look from the Smashbox, the contour shade, along with Tiara from Sydney Grace. And then I also ended up with a really good variety of mauve tones. Plus the blush in the Cali Contour palette also gave me some nice peachy looks as well. So overall, I'm really happy with this little combo that I had for eyeshadow options. I never felt like I was missing anything or wished that I had something different. So I think putting the time into planning this single shadow palette ahead of time paid off in the long run. I also brought along an ABH liquid liner. It's just a black liquid liner. I have it on today. I just thought I might want this, especially for the special events. I never actually ended up using this, so I probably didn't have to pack it, but for such a small amount of space that it takes up, I was glad that I had it as an option. I packed just like a classic brow combo for me, just a brow pencil and a clear brow gel. I have my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil and then my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. Worked out great. I love traveling with this thing because it does have the spoolie attached, so I don't have to pack an entirely separate brush just for a spoolie. And then last up in the eye category is the one and only mascara that I packed. I brought along the Clean Lash Lengthening Mascara from Merit Beauty. I have really begun like a massive love affair with this mascara. It's a tubing formula and it's black, and it was perfect for a trip like this because, like I said earlier, I'm a crier and I knew I would be crying at their wedding. And I was super, super, super nervous to not pack a waterproof mascara, but I decided what better time to test out this mascara and see if it can hold up to my tears. And it absolutely did the trick. It worked great. It's super easy to take off at the end of the night, much more enjoyable than a waterproof mascara would have been. And so I'm really, really happy with the decision to just pack this and trust it and hope that it worked out. It was great. Okay, last up is lips, and I may have went a little overboard on this category. So let me just explain my thoughts in hindsight here. So first up, I just packed my favorite lip liner, which is my NYX Slim Lip Pencil in the shade Nude Pink. And then for lip colors, the first one up here is my Real Her Cosmetics Girl Power lipstick. This is just like a perfect mauve lipstick. This thing lasts super, super well. I knew it would be perfect for a wedding, special occasions, etc. It matches every eyeshadow that I packed. And so this was a no-brainer for me. And the other one that was an obvious choice for me was my Merit Beauty Shade Slick Tinted Lip Oil in the shade Taupe. It's a really beautiful, like cool to neutral brown, and I'm wearing it today. I actually don't even have the lip liner on with it. It just blends so beautifully into my lips, and I love this product to death. It was absolutely a necessity for me to bring this along. And then I basically panic packed 2 wildcard lip products. The first one is my Ofra Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Atlantic City. And I don't necessarily regret packing this one because I think in theory, if I were going to go for a bold lip, a red would have been it. But also I should have just thought ahead for 1 minute. And although this lipstick lasts super well, it's a great lipstick, I knew I would be eating a lot of like messy, oily, greasy Italian pastas and things like that. And when I know I'm eating food like that, I just never ever go for the bold lip. Even though this would probably do a fairly good job of, holding up against that, I still just know, I know myself. I know myself, and I know I would never have opted for this knowing that that's what I'm about to eat. So this was a silly choice just because I didn't think through my own makeup preferences. But I kind of get why I packed it. Like, I understand where my mind was at when I was like, ooh, pick a bold lip. The one that was like completely irrational is my Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipstick in the shade Dragon Mommy. And this is like a bright coral lipstick. Honestly, I packed this exclusively because I packed this like bright limoncello colored yellow dress because I wanted to have like a cute outfit to wear, and I wanted to do like all bright colors. But it's like fall time now, and I pulled this lipstick out to wear it with that yellow dress, and it just felt like too much bright, bold color for me, like too much like electric color for the season. And I chickened out and didn't wear it, and I literally only packed it to go with that one dress. And so of course I never used this any other time. Also, again, I should have thought about the fact that I just do not gravitate towards a bold lip when I know I'm eating food that's going to kind of mess up my lipstick. So didn't need this, didn't need the red, but honestly, I liked having them. I liked having the option. I don't like the idea of feeling bored with my makeup, and variety really helps me with that. And so the same way that I kind of had to get a little creative with my eyeshadow, I also wanted to get creative with my lip products. I just didn't really think it all the way through. So that is it. Those are the makeup products I packed. And now let me just show you the brushes I chose, although like I said, I'm not gonna link them down below. I ended up packing 4 face brushes and 4 eye brushes. But my biggest kind of trick or hurdle with picking brushes was that in this bag, normal length brushes don't quite fit. So I kind of had to rummage through my brush collection and find ones that have like short little handles. So this one is from Merit Beauty. It's the only brush they sell, and it's great for foundation and for concealer. So this was kind of my all over complexion brush. For bronzer and blush, I brought along this angled e.l.f. brush. This is just one of my all-time favorite bronzer brushes in general, and I just doubled up this and my blush together. I also packed this Bare Minerals little powder brush, thinking that I would use that face powder in the Cali Contour palette from Smashbox. I thought I'd use that a little bit more to set my face, and I didn't need to. So I really didn't have to pack this brush, but it was kind of nice to have it because then I ended up using my bronzer brush for my bronzer and this brush for my blush. So it worked out, but I didn't need it. And then I packed my Real Techniques setting brush for highlighter as always. For my eye brushes, I packed the e.l.f. Fluffy blender brush. I love doing really like smoked out, blurry, beautiful looks for romantic occasions. And so having something super fluffy like this is helpful for really blending those edges. I packed this super old brush that my mom bought me from Avon, like when I was in middle school. And I still have this because it is one of the best outer corner brushes for me of all time. It also works really well on my inner corner for highlighting and my brow bone. So this is a great brush as well. Just something small and rounded and fluffy like this. I packed this double-ended ABH brush. I got this with the Sultry palette, so definitely not available for you all, but it basically has a smudger end that was great for under my eye, and then it has a less fluffy crease brush for me. And then last up, also a very, very old Avon brush. Man, these things are like shockingly good. It has a brush on this side that is even less fluffy than the ABH one for my crease. So I use this for a little bit more detailed work. And then really why I packed this was for this end, which is a good eyeliner brush. So like I mentioned, I brought that dark brown eyeshadow to use as an eyeliner, and I did that multiple times actually. So needed a brush to apply that with. So that's it. That is what I packed on my honeymoon. I feel like I had just enough variety. Like I said, I definitely packed some things I didn't need, but I would rather have kind of the comfort of knowing I can switch it up when I want to than feel like I'm limited or restricted in my makeup. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Let me know in the comments down below, what makeup product do you never travel without? I would love to hear your opinion on how you pack for travel or for special events. Please consider subscribing to my channel before you go today if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.